growing up, did you have to help on the farm?
Yes.
That's when you're still in school?
Yes, we would have to help. I was only 10 and I would be looking after my baby sister on a Wednesday. And my brother had to be in charge because we was not allowed to stay without having somebody older. So he would stay from school, I would stay from school to mind my baby sister while Mum went with Dad to get the shopping.
Where did they go?
Hereford market, and if they'd taken animals to the market, a calf, or buy any, if we had to have our clothes. And my dad would go to Ewyas, if it snowed, he went on the snow to Ewyas and put his horse down there, tie it up somewhere in the stable down there. There was open where the chip shop somewhere by there.
Yeah.
Tie the horse up and go into town, and brought us a lot of blankets back on, because we were so cold at Gridle, and he would bring that back home and some food, bread and things like that, and we made our own bread. Now we would have to go then to have the wireless. We wanted a wireless. The accumulator,
yes.
would have to have the wireless. We had to have accumulator. The battery had to be charged, so we had
yes.
to take it to the mill at Rollston and walk down with accumulator to be charged at the old mill. And my dad would go down with the corn that we'd grown on the fields, and the wheat and the barley, and have it ground. They would grind it, and down into either flour if you wanted to make bread, or for feeding the pig. Just not so fine for the pig.
What happened
to fatten the pig? You kept the pig.
Term, did you?
You kept feeding the pig with the feed until about November, and you never killed the pig till November. And you was only allowed, then when the war came, you was only allowed one pig. We would make our own butter. We would have the separator, and you would separate the milk, because we had plenty of milk. But we produced milk every day up to the top of the road, and you would make your own butter out of the cream, and you never bought no butter. You never bought no...
Did you use a little hand churn? Or
Pardon?
What sort of churn did you use?
Yes, the hand churn,
yes.
like that. And in the winter it would take a lot for it to come, so you had to warm it with warm water first, the churn, in the winter, but not in the summer, because it come lovely in the summer because the weather was right. But in the winter you would have to warm the churn, tip the water out, and then get that in there. And then you would we had a big thing to put the butter on, and it had a rolling thing on it to get all the buttermilk. You fill it with water after the churn had come,
yes.
you put and then you had buttermilk.
Yeah.
And they used to use the buttermilk for lots of different things. Never wasted it. Nothing was ever wasted, because you needed it all, you see, to feed the family. Because we would
How many were you?
Well, we were 8, and my mother had 2 or 3 men living in as well.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot. And when you would do thrashing, the corn in the winter, you would have to do thrashing with a thrashing machine.
Because
And all the neighbours would come that day.
Yes.
And it would be a lot of people, and they'd carry all the corn.
Because most people listening to this won't know anything about it, how did the thrashing go? What do they have to do?
Oh, well, they had to get the sheaves of corn that we'd already now cut with the binder in the summer. The sheaves would go they'd all be brought into the farm buildings, and you had to go then into the farm building with this big thrashing drum, local thrashing drum. There was one from Watkins of Longtown, Watkins the Groves would come with his thrashing drum. All the neighbours would come, and we'd all have to persevere that day just to do the thrashing. They'd put the sheaves down in, and out would come the corn, and there'd be 2 men or 3 men carrying these big sacks, gopsel sacks, up to the top. At Gridle it was very hard, because they had to go up to the top of the house, to the attic.
You kept it up there?
That was where the corn was stored.
Yes.
All the winter, the length of Gridle House. So you could imagine what vermin we had in that house.
So you had rats in there?
Rats. Rats in the ceilings.
Yes.
Because the corn would seep through the old, lovely, which though it's all there today, which is turned into bedrooms today up there. But I can remember the thrashing drum and Reg Price de Kennel, which is Reg Price that lives down New Salem now. He would have awful hard work of carrying that to the top of there. And you would store that, and then we'd have to keep that and keep turning it through the winter with a big shovel.
Yeah.
As children were made to do that, was our job.
Yes.
Go up there, not to let it go mouldy. So as you kept it, love. So as then you took it down to these places to be ground as well. And then of an evening, we had a lot of prisoner of war.
Oh, right.
Yes. And the one used to come all the way from Langby to milk every morning.
Yeah.
And when it snowed, he would walk. He never missed a camp.
He wasn't supervised. Would he just come on his own, or?
He'd come on a bike.
Yeah.
He had his bike.
Yeah.
And because sometimes they'd bring us a bit of cake out from the camp, you know.
Yeah.
And we was thrilled with this cake if he could bring us some cake. And then we had Germans, and we also had Italians. But the Germans were much better workers. The Italians didn't want to work too much.
Mm.
My dad used to fetch them from Houghton.
Yeah.
Go in the van and fetch a lot, as
Yes.
many as he could get. And I think you had to give them £1. Was it £1?
I don't know. Were you supposed to feed them or not?
Oh, we fed them.
You did, yeah.
I think so. I think we fed them. I can't really remember that, but yes, I would imagine we all fed them.
You were never scared of them?
They were very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yes.